Hey y'all, it's me. I just wanted you to see something. So let me turn this back around here. Can you see the kitty cat slides? Our yard is so muddy right now, and the cats, of course, are everywhere. And so they're just sliding around down the windshield. All right, oops, let me grab my rocks if they're in here. I told you not to take them out. He said he wouldn't. So, here's my rocks. All right. Planning on doing 6 rounds today. I did 6 rounds the other day. So let me set my rocks out. All right, there we go. It's not windy, so I think they're going to be just fine. Oops. And there went my keys. Should have just left them in. Usually just leave them in the vehicle up here. All right, look at this day, y'all. It was about 56 degrees when I left home a few minutes ago. So I'm thinking we might hit 60 degrees today because it's right now about noon. So yay. And let me start this video out for some of y'all that are planning on painting with me. The goal was to have a video up today or tomorrow. And I will have a video up tomorrow with just my phone. And the reason for that is because I need to do an informational video. I had thought I would have the actual first painting video ready. But I have diverticulitis. I don't know if any of y'all deal with that, but I've had a weekend of it. So unfortunately, the actual painting video is not ready to go up. Hopefully the information that I give you tomorrow, though, will have us in a really good space when it goes up, and should be by the end of the week. And I know I just feel like I keep putting this off, but I'm not doing it on purpose, so I hope you'll just be patient with me. But the information that I'll give you tomorrow, we're going to be mixing a little paint and just talking about just general information with our painting. So that will go up tomorrow, and then the actual painting video, I'm going to stick my neck out again and say no later than Friday. So just hang in there, guys. I promise we are once we get started with it, there shouldn't be a slowdown. We should be painting a couple days a week. This weekend just kind of took me by surprise. I hadn't had a bout with the diverticulitis in a while, and it's just kind of rather ugly, but I'm good now. Should be 6 months or so before it happens again. That's usually my average, every 5 or 6 months or so. So I haven't walked all weekend, so you'll probably hear me sounding a little breathless. But let's walk. I have written some things down. Some of your suggestions, especially about the Brussels sprouts. There was a lot of comments about the Brussels sprouts and different ideas for cooking them. They sound yummy. Yummy, yummy. Sherry said that she roasts her Brussels sprouts with bacon, and when they're almost done, she sprinkles them with balsamic vinegar and then lets them finish cooking. And of course, if you're Southern, I don't even know, I don't think you have to be Southern to love bacon. Seems like bacon's just an American staple. But anything with bacon sounds good. And these spiky plants up here, Joy said she thinks that they're yucca. I'm thinking that probably she's right. Seems like I had looked them up at one point because my sister-in-law had some down in an area of her yard. And I think that's kind of what I came up with. What do you think, guys? Okay. And let me see. Let me find this one. Okay, Catbot suggests using the app's Leaf Snap under Picture This for identifying plants. So I planned on putting that on my phone before I came today so I could use it, and I forgot. So I'll get that up on there so we can just stop and check things out. I'm hoping I can do that while I'm actually walking and talking. If not, I'll have to do it either before or after I finish taping. And Barbara, I did fuss at Aaron about the chainsaw accident, but I can't say too much because as a family, we're just accident prone. I'm not sure why. We spent so much time in the emergency room with our kids when they were small, getting things sewn up or casts on arms, never on a leg. I'm the one that had the broken leg. But that the doctors and the nurses, I noticed they started saying, okay, now, and they would do this with the kids and with us. Now, tell me again how this happened. And eventually it became pretty obvious that they were trying to catch us in some kind of a lie. And that was uncomfortable. But the funny thing is that they started noticing that, Hugh was in there just pretty much as the kids. And so they stopped asking. They figured it's just a family flaw. It was sad. Aaron, some of y'all have asked me to tell stories about Aaron when he was a kid. And this is for instance, when he was about 14, he was mowing for a number of our neighbors. And one neighbor was a few miles away, so I would take him down and drop him off and then go back and pick him up. Well, apparently they were gone that day. So Aaron was mowing, and a kid, I don't know why he didn't think about it. I don't know if we just have never explained it or he just had a lapse. But the lawnmower was clogging up. And so he let go of the little bar that keeps it running, and the motor stopped. But he didn't think about the blade continuing to spin. And he reached up under it to get rid of the grass or whatever was stopping it up. And he went in the house. Thankfully, their house was not locked. And he called me. And to begin with, I thought it was my mother-in-law because the voice was so high. And I finally realized it was him. And he said, I've cut my fingers off. So, oh my God. You can imagine that kind of a call from your child. So I jumped we had a Suburban. I jumped in the Suburban, got Chelsea and Jared in the Suburban, and we took off. And I was driving just as fast as that big old Suburban would take me. Got down there where he was at, and he had his hand wrapped up in a towel, and it was all bloody, and he had cut 2 fingers pretty significantly. One, the tip, was just barely still there, down to about the first knuckle. So we jumped back in the Suburban and took off toward the emergency room. Well, I had been driving so fast around the curves that I had spun one of the radials, inside of it, the metal inside of it had spun loose. And then I heard a ch-ch-ch-ch where it was hitting the inside of the wheel well. Sliced the wheel well completely open as it was becoming flat. So pulled over on the side of the road, and here I was with 3 children, Aaron being about 14, Chelsea being about 9, Jared being about 6, and we're standing on the side of the road thumbing, and Aaron has his hand wrapped up in this big bloody towel. So this man in this little sedan stopped and picked us up. Bless his heart, he was a salesman, and he picked us up and drove us to the hospital. I never got his name or anything, but I will be so thankful for him forever. And they took care of Aaron's fingers. The thing Aaron was concerned about at that moment in time was never being able to play the guitar again. And he can play the guitar. He just doesn't take the time to pick it up and play it very often. And he's damaged his hands in so many different ways that I'd say it's probably pretty difficult. Oops. Since we're still this close, we'll go back and put our rock over. See, it's terrible to have such a short memory, y'all. All right. All right, and I told Dana that I would show our family plot. So if you're seeing here where the flagpole's at and the military marker, and you come this way and straight down, I've got to change my flowers out. Y'all look at this. Right here in February, it's time to change out the winter flowers. But this is our spot with our head marker. And my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, both their birth dates are on here, but as of yet, they haven't came out and taken care of the death date. There's my father-in-law and Jared's little marker. And this is what Hugh and I plan on doing, is just having a marker put on this space, because we choose to be cremated instead of buried, so we don't actually need an extra space. But that's our space. And then of course there's bests all over the graveyard. And Rogers, Hugh has a lot of family that's Rogers, so they're just all over the place. And I know that Aaron and Hugh plan on coming out here one day and taking the walk with y'all and talking about the family, all the years that the family's been up in here. Long time. I think the early settlers in this valley were prior to the Revolutionary War. So the Rogers and the Bests and Fergusons, all of those are Hugh's ancestry. So there's years and years and years of them. Look at that. What a beautiful day. And I can't wait for y'all to see this spring, when everything is just an intense Kelly green. Beautiful, beautiful. You'll hear my papers rattling. I apologize for that. It's better for me to write things down than just try to remember. Okay, Sharon and Sandy both backed up what I had known about Brussels sprouts, and then also what I had forgotten about Brussels sprouts when you're getting ready to freeze them. And that it's best to plunge them into hot water for 3 minutes. I think that probably boiling water for 3 minutes. Take them out and immediately put them into cold water, maybe even ice water, to stop them from cooking. So just a very, very quick little parboil. And then after a minute or so, I would imagine, give them time to cool a minute. Take them out. I would lay them on paper towels or clean kitchen towels or something and let them dry. And then on a cookie sheet, stick them in the freezer, let them freeze good, and then put them in a baggie or in your little baggies, that the suction machine. I don't remember what they're called. But the Brussels sprouts, I am planning on growing them this year, but I'm planning on waiting until fall. I'm not going to grow them as an early spring. Goodness gracious, guys and girls. I am just a little bit out of breath. All right. Joselle said that the duck eggs and the goose eggs are great for baking because they're so much richer than the chicken eggs. I would imagine if you used a duck egg or a goose egg, probably just use one where it says 3 chicken eggs because they are huge. They are so very big. And yes, my geese absolutely make really good guard dogs. They hear whatever's coming into the driveway before the dogs ever do. Unless it's Chelsea's vehicle or Aaron's vehicle, they hear that one and identify it before they ever make it to the yard. So, other than that, the geese tell me when someone's pulling into the driveway, and then the dogs will join them. Another thing that the geese do that I think is just hysterical, when they get out of their lot in the morning, we let them out of their lot, if they haven't already, half of them escaped during the night. But they will come around to the den where Hugh and I eat breakfast and we watch the news and everything. They will come around there and they will stand at the window knowing that the dogs will come over there and look at them. And I call it barking. They will squawk at the dogs and get the dogs all riled up so the dogs will bark at them. So it's kind of just a barking contest. The geese are barking at the dogs and the dogs are barking at the geese. And we have to separate them. I usually take the dogs and make them go in the laundry room for a little while until the geese decide to wander off. But it's so funny to me that they do that. It's really kind of like they do it on purpose, knowing that they're going to stir the dogs up, rile the dogs, and the dogs can't get to them. So that's, to me, just pretty funny. All right. And Sharon said that her mother used goose eggs to make noodles. And I had asked some of y'all what you were adding and subtracting. And Susan made the suggestion that we subtract negativity and add in gratitude and positivity. That's kind of a good one for all of us. I know that sometimes it's easy to become negative when it seems like there's so much going on around us that can be very negative. Let me ask y'all a question. You know, we are definitely not going to be political on here. We'd already made that decision. I've actually stayed away from a lot. Just here and there I get my drawers in a wad over something, but I stay away from a lot. And I'm finding that on those days that I just kind of ignore the news, stay away from the news, and just focus on my little life is so much more enjoyable. And when you think about it, yes, I do believe that it's a good idea for us all to vote for those things that we think are important in our minds for our families and our communities and our state and our government. I think it's important that we be involved to that extent. But I've almost decided that just for my mental health and just for the sake of just enjoying life, if it's not something that I can actually fix, if I can't do something about it, I think I'm just going to stay away from it. Do you ever reach the point where you just don't want to know? Why stay upset over something that you really just cannot fix? I don't know if in my younger days I just wore the rose-colored glasses and thought I could fix something, if that was the reason I was so involved. But I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I'm just tired of the nonsense. The nonsense on both sides. I just want to live in peace. I want to raise flowers and vegetables. I want to take care of my boys and my daughter to the extent they'll let me. You know, they're adults mostly, except for Aiden. He's still at 19. I won't. Yes, I know that's supposed to be an adult, but to me that's still so young. But I'll take care of my geese and my ducks and my chickens, the peacocks, the cats, the dogs, the cattle, and grow things. And just go vote every other November. And other than that, just ignore it. That's what I'm saying. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right. You know what? Did I forget my rock? I think I did. All right. And talking about the geese, Barb mentioned the YouTube channel called Goldshaw Farms. Now, for those of you that like the ducks and the geese, that is such a fun channel. They're way up in New England, and the guy that does this channel, he and his wife bought a nice piece of property up there. I think it's like 100, somewhere like 120, 130, maybe 170. I can't remember the size exactly, but it's a large piece of property. And they have some of the little Highland cattle that are beautiful, and they have ducks and geese, and Abby, and can't remember their doggies' names. One is Abby and Toby. I think the other's Toby. But what a fun channel. He's very entertaining. He's so funny. And his channel is absolutely worth watching if y'all haven't seen it before. Especially if you like the ducks and geese, go over and check it out. Now, be aware that if you like the ducks and geese as pets, it might disturb you just a little bit, because they do process their ducks and geese and they sell them and once or twice a year. So it's not just a little hobby farm like ours. It is actually a production to make money on their ducks and geese. So, but it is truly an enjoyable channel to watch. Let me see what my notes are. Jen says to be sure, in dealing with not eating after dinner, she said be sure that you're adding plenty of protein. I'm going to put 2 in there because I honestly believe that I forgot the last time around. And if I didn't, that's okay. I'm feeling a little breathless today. So 1 less will be all right instead of 1 more. And Joselle said that she fries her Brussels sprouts and dips them in lemon and butter. That sounds yummy. That sounds yummy too. Okay, Nancy quarters her Brussels sprouts and sautés them on medium-high heat with sweet onion and dried cranberry. Now, me, I love sweet and savory. And so that sounds really yummy. Yes, yes. And then let me see. Hold on a minute. Somebody had mentioned a little brown sugar. Let me see if I can find you. Well, I guess I dreamed that I wrote that one down. But whoever had written that one, if you'll just post it again for me. I know it had brown sugar, a little brown sugar added. So, and I apologize for not having written that one down. I wanted to share all of them. And of course, when we have the YouTube channel as a group channel and it's up and running, everybody can post these recipes for us to share. And I do appreciate all of you being so patient with me. I am a dinosaur when it comes to anything YouTube. And I don't know about y'all, but at some point I just absolutely hate continually asking my children. Their lives are so busy and they will stop and help me out, but I just grow weary of just constantly saying, hey, do you mind doing such and such for me on my phone or on my computer? So just please know that they both are very willing. It's just that Mom isn't willing to ask them. So I've got to make that trip to town and take my little phone. And my goal is to purchase for myself a laptop. My last laptop has been gone for about 4 years. It bit the dust. It was used. I had gotten Chelsea's hand-me-down. And this time I may just go ahead and invest in a brand new one. And either watch YouTube University and learn how to use the thing, or I may look at it's the community college and go take a class and learn to do things for myself. I know that's the better thing. It's just I resist it with all of my being. I hate anything to dealing with electronics. I've always said if it plugs in the wall, I don't want anything to do with it. And at some point, that's not okay. We are in the electronic age. Technology is a huge part of our lives. And we can just suck it up and deal with it. All right. There's the last one, I'm assuming. Let me just stick these inside. And let's walk over and look up the valley. Y'all, I sure do enjoy my walks with you. I've missed them this weekend. And hopefully diverticulitis will not come visiting again for a while. I've never had it so bad that I've ended up in the hospital. I do understand that it's something that's a possibility, but I've never had it to that extent. Chelsea was in the process of calling an ambulance for me one time about 7 or 8 years ago when we lived in Canton, and I made her stop, and eventually it was okay after a little while. So that's just one of my little health issues. Nothing that I have to deal with very often, thank goodness. But it sure isn't fun when it happens. Look at this day, guys. I'd say we're probably up to 60 degrees now. This is beautiful, beautiful. This is where I took the sunset from a couple weeks ago. So this is facing basically due west. All right. I'm going to head home and finish doing the things I need to there. Look at this. Somebody has some little cattle figurines on top of their headstone. That's sweet. I'm glad to see I'm not the only person that hasn't taken care of the Christmas flowers yet. Seems that most everybody are waiting. How do y'all feel about that? I think that's changing. I know that decorating the graves were so important to my mother and daddy and Hugh's mother and daddy. You can see over there in the old part of the cemetery that there's very, very few grave markers that have any flowers on them. And Hugh and I have discussed it. Is this something that we want our children and grandchildren to feel obligated to do in years to come? It is an expense, and it is kind of something that until you actually get out there and get it done, then you feel better, but it just kind of weighs on your mind. And you and I have discussed that when our children have to take over that responsibility, we're going to suggest that they not do it. And the reason for it is because our loved ones are not there. There's nothing about them that is there. It's just their names on a stone. And I don't want them to feel obligated to keep flowers on the headstones. We'll do it. Hugh and I will continue doing it until we can no longer do it, simply because it was important to our parents, but it's not important to me and Hugh, so we don't want them to feel obligated to do that. And just be curious to find out how you all feel about that, and what you're encouraging the future generations in your family to do. I honestly, I don't know about y'all, but let's walk over here and look. I honestly think that over there where there are no flowers, I mean, yeah, there's a few scattered around here and there, but over in the part of the cemetery where there are no flowers and there's just the beautiful markers, I just think that's even prettier. I just think that's prettier than over here where there are so many flowers. To me, that's just almost jarring. What do y'all think? It's just I have a lot of strange ideas, but I'm certain that this isn't the strangest of them all. All right. Well, listen, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. We're Monday. Like I said, tomorrow I will have an art video up, but we will not be painting. It will be an informational video. a little bit of information on color choices and mixing. And if you're going to paint with me, it would be good for you to watch that, because that will make our video, our first painting video that should be up, like I said, Friday, bear with me, a little bit more smooth. So I love y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.